Welcome to the PLZ Soccer Show. I'm Peter Martin, delighted that we've got Ruffy here as ever, and alongside us the Queen's Park boss, Gus MacPherson. Of course, Scottish Cup weekend. We'll look at the fixtures. We'll also discuss some of the main news points. Gus, managers falling out with each other, managers falling out with players, never too far away from our thoughts. Craig Levine's had a pop at Scott Brown because Scott Brown had a pop at him, and the week before that Craig Levine had a pop at Neil Lennon in natural order. It's just bubbling along nicely.
It's the business end of the season and people are just getting a little bit nervous, but I think the media like this, they want this and people to have their opinions and share them, but it's just the nature of the game at the moment. But I think the most important thing for everybody is to make sure that their teams are winning.
Yeah. When you look back over your career, Gus, I mean, you're schooled in how to deal with these things. Is there ever a moment that you want to share with me and Ruffy where you thought, I'm going to have a right dig at him because he's annoyed me?
Constantly, but we've never felt the urge to share it. We've probably got 2 or 3 ongoing at the moment, but no, you keep them to yourself. But Craig has felt the need to come out, and share his views. I just wonder if it had anything to do with Brendan's criticism of Hearts, earlier on in the season.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, Ruffy. You were about to have a dig at him there, weren't you?
No, I was going to say that was most of the players in his own dressing room who were waiting to give a kick on.
Let's not talk about Queen's Park just now, because I'm hoping that they can get second bottom, maybe third bottom, and escape the drop into League Two. But nevertheless, it's a battle that's ongoing. Brendan Rodgers, just picking up on what Gus says, Brendan Rodgers has actually mentioned that Craig Levine seems to have a thing about Scott Brown. He never stops talking about him. Maybe it's a compliment to the Celtic captain. That's what Brendan Rodgers has suggested.
I don't think for a minute Scott Brown will take it that way. That's a compliment. I think he'll be actually rubbing his hands waiting in the next game. That's what kind of competitor he is. He'll want to go out there and do well for his club and obviously for himself. But I think it's all simmering in the young boy Cochrane, the challenge that he had then. I don't think Craig Levine thought that challenge was justified, but I don't know why Craig's getting involved in how many bookings that Scott Brown's going, what games he's going to miss, because I think he should just concentrate on the good time that Hearts are having now.
Yeah, well, that's the crux of it, because basically Scott Brown said that by his comments he put pressure on referees to book Scott Brown. He picked up a booking, he misses a game, but Craig Levine has actually, retorted and said, listen, he's worked out the bookings. He just didn't want to miss the Rangers game.
I think only Scott Brown knows the answer to that one. It would be suggesting, that somebody sat there, calculated it, and decided that was the right thing to do. Normally players do that over the festive period and decide when they want to enjoy themselves in the good old days. But not only Scott Brown or the Celtic people would know that, but if that was correct, there's not a great deal wrong with it. And then if that's what they've decided to do, that they are prioritising, that then becomes a key or crucial game for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Who'd have thought? Players' collusion within the game, people thinking ahead so that they can play in the old firm fixture. Who'd have thought? Anyway, only Scott Brown can tell us, and the likelihood of that happening, 0. Anyway, Celtic Partick Thistle. I don't know if Gus has seen the Alan Rough suite at Firhill, but there's there's a big picture of you, which is you in your outfit, looking slim, 13 stone 7, your fighting weight, you're playing for Scotland, and then there's a painting on the right hand side of you, which looks like Charles Houghton. Not quite you, but look that up on YouTube if you get a chance. Ruffy, Celtic Partick Thistle, who's going to win?
Yeah, well, obviously when you've been at a club for 15 years, you would tend to sway towards that club. But I think it's going to be very difficult at Celtic Park, particularly if Celtic get some of their players back. But Alan Archibald away from home, 4 points out of 6, will go there with a little bit of confidence, but he will know it's not about what Celtic do, it's what Partick Thistle do. In the midweek there against Rangers, they had a couple of chances that they could have went either way, and they might have got the confidence to get something out of that game. But I think we all know going to Celtic in a one-off game with the support behind them, it's going to be a difficult one, and I probably think Celtic might just win it.
Yeah, Gus, I don't know if you got this at a course at Largs as well, but Ruffy has what we call a long mazy to keep the fans on side before he spanks them at the end with, I played for you for 15 years. It's a lovely club. The people are nice, but you're out of the cup. That's exactly what he does.
The decorators are now in the Alan Rough lounge. Fixtures and fixtures are changing.
Could you pass over the Dennis McQuaid photograph? And then we'll put that up. So Thistle are out. I'm looking at all the ties. Cove, Rangers against Falkirk, Dundee, Motherwell, Hearts, St Johnstone, Killie, Brora, Morton, Dumbarton. Ayr United Rangers is on the Sunday, as well as the tie of the round, which is Aberdeen against Dundee United. I remember the great days, Ruffy, when you were looking at Aberdeen, Dundee United, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, Miller, McLeish, Strachan, McGee, Billy Stark in there. Sometimes a great player that I loved, Ian Scanlon, who played for Aberdeen. And then you look at the other end and you think to yourself, Neri, Hegarty, Paul Sturrock, just rippling with quality.
Yeah, well, it was billed as the new firm. You know, the two of them were doing so successful in Scottish football and in Europe as well. You know, with the players that you've just mentioned there, it was a tie that could have went either way, but I don't think that's the case now. I think Aberdeen are playing particularly well, and Dundee United aren't. We've already saw Aberdeen taking a few off St Mirren. I think St Mirren are a far better side than Dundee United at this precise moment, so I don't think Aberdeen should have any trouble at all there.
Yeah, so Aberdeen to spank Dundee United?
Yep, I would say maybe 3-0.
Oof, there you are. There's a call. What about the odds are on that, Gus? What about yourself?
I would go for Aberdeen. I think that's the one thing that Derek and Tony will be stressing to the players, that no complacency because of the reasonably comfortable victory over St Mirren. Now that they're playing St Mirren's closest challengers in the Championship, don't treat them lightly. But I still think Aberdeen have been impressive for long periods of this season, and especially at Pittodrie, and I think they'll win by a couple of goals to spare.
Yep. Okay, couple of things before we go on this one. Of course, we're going to talk about what's up?
Shocks.
What? Oh, shocks. Okay, you see, Ruffy's taking control of the programme now.
Looking at that Cove Rangers Falkirk game, and I think Cove Rangers are a very, very organised Highland team, and the way Falkirk are in and out just now, I think that could be the shock of the weekend.
Cove Rangers to knock out Falkirk?
Yep.
Okay, don't put your mortgage on it, that's all I'm saying to you, because I'm now going to the wise old head here. Gus, would you steam in where Ruffy has suggested?
No. No. It's not to say it won't happen, but I think Falkirk will be focused enough. They've been frustrated in their league position. I think Paul will be frustrated with the inconsistency that they've shown, you know, since he's been at the club. But I still think the quality that they've got within their group will be too strong for Cove.
Yeah, you know all about Ayr United. Could they cause a shock against a Rangers side that bounced back from the defeat to Hibs with a good win over Partick Thistle? I think it's much ado about nothing about, you know, Josh Windass telling the Rangers fans to shush. You know, that's just a bit of banter. They're giving him pelters. He scores the goal and says, you know, calm your jets.
Yeah, he'll never win that fight, you know, but you would advise him to keep his counsel, you know, and yeah, he'll have been frustrated if the criticism has went over the top, he believed, but that's the nature of playing football, and especially at bigger clubs, that you're going to get, you know, criticised. But for the game itself, it's a difficult game for Rangers, especially at Somerset Park. Ayr had a fantastic result early in the season against Kilmarnock, and they thoroughly deserved to win. But I think, you know, Rangers, you know, in recent away games, you know, Fraserburgh, Firhill, you know, midweek there, they look pretty assured, and I think that in itself will be enough for them, you know, to go away from home and to get a result.
Do you think Graham Murty needs to get Rangers to a Scottish Cup final and second in the table to have a chance of getting that job permanently next season?
I don't know. I don't know what his, you know, expectations will have been set at, you know, by the directors. I think he'll believe he has to make that kind of impression. He'll want to finish second, obviously, and want to challenge for as long as they possibly can. But he's been allowed to recruit, which is a sign that, you know, they are supporting him, you know, from above and giving him every opportunity to meet those expectations. But but it's the hiccups along the way that will be frustrating for them as well. But and again, it depends on the luck of the draw as well, that whether you can, you know, fulfil those ambitions that are targets that you've set.
Yeah. Okay, just before we go, managers and players are not allowed to gamble. Ruffy and I can steam in. Will we steam in and you escaping the drop? It's such a tough ask. We look every Saturday and we think, come on, Gus, you know, get a win. We just want you to finish second bottom, third bottom, to defy the odds and stay in that division.
It's been a really tough season. It's been a really frustrating season. We went in a pretty good run, 5 or 6 weeks without losing, a couple of wins within that as well. But then we've had a tough run. You know, we played Arbroath away, and then with the 2 full-time clubs, Ayr United and Wraith Rovers. They're all tough games. That's not to suggest anyone's any easier. But you would hope now, you know, albeit we start away to East Fife and then away to Airdrie, 2 difficult games, but you're hoping, you know, that we've not played badly, you know, and it's just the difference in penalty boxes, whether just a frustrating individual mistake or not taking a chance when it comes along. A lot of managers will be able to tell you that story as well. But it's still giving us hope and belief, you know, that if we can just go on that another little run again, you know, 5 or 6 games, pick up points, we can, you know, get off the bottom and certainly be competitive. We've been competitive for the majority of the season, you know, with the resources that we have, you know, but that's the nature of Queen's Park. But we would hope, you know, that we can get out of this.
Yeah, okay. Is it a tenner or £100, Ruffy, on this one? I mean, what's your confidence like?
No, I think we're all hoping, because obviously every time Gus comes on the show, he tells us exactly where it is. Yeah. And I'm just hoping that his bosses believe that as well, because you know, like, it isn't a Premiership. Yeah. Now the last point I'm going to make on this, slightly away from football. If you were playing, Gus, at golf, would you take an absolute doing? If it was a bare game, yes. Gus is a very, very low handicapper, and I wouldn't be able to cope with that. But being given, obviously, 12 shots, it makes it a wee bit easier. Yeah.
Have you played your man and been on the end of a defeat?
I've been on the end of a defeat. I think I was giving him 7 or 8 shots, and I think he refused to play off the medal tees. Alan tends to pick one of the shorter courses that are around the district, you know, so that he doesn't go into these longer courses where it becomes a little bit of a tougher challenge, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do ever see Gus on a golf course and there's money involved, just hand it over to him as quick as you can. It saves a lot of time and pain. Simple as that. Great to see Gus MacPherson with us on the Soccer Show. Hopefully Queen's Park can indeed get that run of about 5 or 6 games, get away from the drop zone and stay in a division which defies belief when you consider the structure of the club as well. Okay, from Gus, from Ruffy and myself, join us tomorrow. Barry Ferguson will be here with us, having a wee natter and looking in depth at what some of the managers have been saying ahead of the Scottish Cup fixtures as well. Thanks for watching.